York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K. Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, welcome to the New York Knicks podcast, episode 639. I am Jay. How you doing, Mark?
I am doing fine. Much like the Knicks, I'm doing about fine. The Knicks are about fine.
Everybody's injured.
I have a question.
The
for you
whole
guys.
team's injured.
I have a prediction. At some point later this season, maybe next week, the Knicks starting lineup will be Charlie Brown, Daquan Jeffries, Jacob Toppin, Alec Burks, and Jericho Sims. And they'll be the only five guys available to play in the game. They'll each play 48 minutes. And then, after losing by only a few points on a blown call to the Denver Nuggets, there will be people online who will say missed players being out is no excuse.
And they'll say it's Tibbs' fault that he played those guys so many minutes.
Why was Charlie Brown playing 48 minutes? You should have subbed him out for a fan. A fan could have easily filled in there. It's no excuse. What are you going to do if you get to the playoffs and you only have five guys who can play? And they all have broken legs. There's no excuse.
It is. So now we're not even getting clear messages on who's coming back when and how it. We just keep hearing.
I have the updates, Jay.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. Go give me the players and I'll tell you.
Okay. OG.
Never.
Okay. Randall.
Never.
And Mitch.
Mitch. After Randall and OG.
Okay. iHeart.
He is day to day. He will not play back to backs or in the spring.
Brunson.
Brunson has a head injury apparently and is dead.
All right.
Or we'll be back next week.
Okay. So it's
Or
been
next game.
It's been good times lately.
So I think the actual updates are Randall it sounded like he will need surgery from the most recent update, but the question is whether he can just put the surgery off till the end of the season and come back injured so that he can have a poor performance in the playoffs and have fans being like, see, I told you he sucks.
So is it just going to be an annual tradition that Miami injures Randall and has him limping around in the playoffs? That's just the way it is now. The league's going to do nothing about Miami just injuring everybody.
I mean, I know the Knicks. That was the most ridiculous play. It wasn't even like a. It was a foul, right? That play, but it wasn't like a.
I mean, it's the league's fault for making that block charge call so, like, split second. He had position for a microsecond, and he didn't adjust running at full speed, so it's a charge.
I've always hated this. I know Brunson's good at drawing it. I've always thought you should have to establish position for a count of two, or else it's just not.
I would even give you a full second, 1 full second.
Yeah, even 1 full second. It's just so insane that a guy runs to a spot, just stands there a half second before you, and it's a foul, and guys are getting injured or just you're taking a guy running full speed into you to get a foul. It's not a good play.
No, it's a dangerous play. You can't put a pinky finger on a guy shooting a shot, but you can barrel into players if they're under the net. It's very weird.
It's weird how the NBA's made they have some bizarre rule. They've made playing defense so hard in the NBA to just jack up the scoring. And I get that maybe they thought the 90s basketball wasn't as exciting, but you've gone so crazy with allowing making it so hard to defend. At the same time, you allow guys to just run into each other as a regular play.
Very weird. Very weird. And
Yeah.
they're like, I don't get why injuries are up so much.
So I guess in theory, Randall's been trying to do some off the court activities to to play.
Mm-hmm.
He may be able to come back and maybe he's 80% to 90% of Randall. I mean, we really do need him bad. I for all the haters that are like, we're going to be so much better without Randall. Really? Do you think we're better without Randall right now?
Well, I mean, it's not his shooting arm, so that's good news.
Yeah.
Same with OG. The elbow's not his shooting elbow.
Yeah.
So I mean, these guys, even if the elbow's not and shoulder are not completely healed, they should be able to at least shoot. Maybe they won't get that arm
Yeah.
up as much for a rebound or something, but it'll be a huge addition when they come back.
You really need Randall's like first of all, like last night the Knicks played so this is the day they played Detroit on Monday, they played the Pelicans on Tuesday. Today's Wednesday. Last night the Knicks had Josh Hart trying to guard Zion, and you're
Yeah.
like, and Zion's a huge man. But you're like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, he
Like,
did a
just-
good
and
job
not-
too. He did.
He did a good job. And
Yeah.
not that Randall would shut down Zion, but like you just want to have some guy that's like appropriately sized to guard him.
Yeah, yeah. He was outweighed by like 60 pounds and 6 inches. It was like not a good matchup.
I was just like, I was watching that also. I was like, why are they giving the ball to anyone besides Zion? Like, just have him give the ball every time. Like, it might work out. I
It
don't
looked
know.
like they tried to in the third quarter and it didn't work out. Zion, I don't know, like he shows flashes where you're like, oh my God, he's going to be the greatest. And then other times you like, he played like 35 minutes and he has 5 rebounds. Like,
Jay did a parlay last night. The only thing he didn't get was the 6th rebound from Zion. He is super bitter.
I have a little bitter about that. Like,
It
why
is
can't you rebound?
absurd that Zion can't get more than 5. He doesn't average a lot of rebounds. It's absurd. And I my guess is part of it's just like the pre-injury Zion that came out of Duke would be dominating the league. The post-injury Zion is a very, very good player, but not quite the pre-Zion.
Yeah, that's probably it. So it looked like the refs did a no call against Detroit that may have swung the game in the Knicks' favor, and some people are complaining about that. The Knicks had 5 games that were swung against them, so they're still 1-5 in game-altering ref calls. So you know what? You gave us one. Fine. They rejected the appeal for the Houston game. So
Yes, I'm shocked. Actually, I really thought they were gonna be like, "Hey, we're overturning the Houston game, and we're also overturning the finals from '94.
I
Overturning
really,
everything."
I honestly thought that the corrupt league would not have backed the corrupt refs.
I'm
Shocking.
waiting till the Knicks have a game where the NBA announces we are turning down the protest just because the ref posted a parlay he had from the other team after the game. Where congrats to the referee on the parlay. Knicks still lose. Yeah, but by the way, I know this wasn't a game altering play, but Josh Hart was literally bleeding last night, and the refs were like, no call.
Yeah.
He got punched in the face or just hit in the face, basically.
By Zion,
bleeding from the
by the
nose.
way.
He comes over screaming at the ref, this is no call. And you're like, Hart's getting really angry, and you're like, he is actually bleeding. So I guess he's got a point there.
I was shocked that he didn't get a technical for getting hit in the face and then complaining about it.
I actually I was like, if he wasn't bleeding right now, he'd definitely have a technical.
Yeah,
And the ref's
yeah.
probably just like, I don't know. This is a bad look to give a bleeding player a technical.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so the Knicks are they're missing. Randall will probably come back and not have surgery is likelihood. He'll have surgery in the offseason and is the likelihood, and he'll be not his full self. But we need from Randall, his rebounding is super important. Having a big guy out there is super important. And just having someone else who draws the goddamn defense, because this is getting really hard with only one guy who can draw the defense.
It does sound like there's a good chance that everybody will be back for the playoffs. Even
Yeah.
Mitch is posting positive stuff on his Instagram. So it seems like the Knicks could be at full strength, which I know some people are a little upset with Burks and Bogdanovich. One, Burks is barely going to play when everybody's back. And I think Bogdanovich has done fine. He's a little bit streaky, but the guy can score. And he's one of the only guys who's healthy right now that can create his own shot. And you need that.
He can only kind of create his own shot.
More than
Some other guys, yes.
Yeah.
Well, Dante can create his own shot, but not amazing at it, but he can create his own shot. Yeah, a lot of people are mad at. So Burks has looked like trash. Like
he
there's
has. He has.
He's looked like I'm watching him being like, oh yeah, I guess that's why he wasn't very good in the net. He just doesn't look any. I guess I don't expect him to look. It seems like it's not just that he looks bad. He looks the worst of his Knicks before. Like there were times when he was good as a Knick. He has just been. At some point he'll look good, but he hasn't looked good in a single game for the Knicks yet so far.
Yeah, I'm always like small sample size. He looked good in Detroit all season, so I don't think he just started to suck. Like he's probably just in a little bit of a
Right.
slump, learning a new team and a new offensive scheme or whatever. But again, like if everybody's back, we're probably gonna barely see him. We'll see more Bogdanovich than Burks in the playoffs if everybody's healthy, and I'm not worried about Bogdanovich.
They pointed this out on the game last night. I think it was that Josh Hart shot 52% from three over a 25 game span last year.
Yeah, yeah,
And it kind of just reminds you, and obviously Josh Hart is not Steph Curry. But it kind of reminds you like anything can happen, good or bad, in a short sample of games.
right. I mean, look at the Heat series last year. Like Lowry looked like prime Lowry, and then he went back to sucking the very next round. Like sometimes a guy gets hot for 2 weeks, and
Sometimes guys are feeling their oats. Sometimes
Yeah.
guys are on, sometimes guys are off. I wish Josh Hart would take a greater role in the offense right now. Like he's getting points, and he got points last night.
we had
But do
the
you feel,
Villanova trio all score over 20 in the same game.
don't you feel like Josh Hart still kind of defers a little bit? Like you're like, hey Hart, we kind of need you to go for 30 tonight. We need all the three Villanova. We need all these Villanova guys to go for 30 anytime. Right now, while we're shorthanded.
I mean, I think they're trying. It's not like he doesn't seem to be like passing up shots. He's just
Kind
that's
of passing up shots still. You've not noticed him kind of passing up shots. There are some plays where he's like, "Oh, cool! Instead of taking the three, you passed it to Precious on the 3-point line. This will work out for us." I know Precious has been shooting some threes lately. He should never shoot a gut. Does Precious ever shoot a three?
I don't. The problem is you need somebody out there to like spread the floor, but and then he hit one or two like earlier, but he shot like 2 air balls last game, and I'm like, yeah, maybe you should either not shoot them or just not even stand out there, because if you're wide open at the 3-point line, you should shoot it, but he probably just shouldn't even be out there.
Well, I guess like so people were saying when I said I posted online that like he shouldn't be shooting threes anymore, and people were like, "Well, you need to spread the floor and so forth." I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine. I think he's fine to stand out there, but he gets the ball out there. No one's going to guard him. Don't shoot. Like he could just drive to the basket. He can pull in for a 15-foot jumper, or he can drive. Like he could do other things. Like a lot of guys attack the basket. It's not like your only option was to shoot the three. Like literally, sometimes when he gets the ball, he kind of looks around. He's like, he takes like, I guess I should shoot again. And then was like, I guess this is happening.
Yeah, I mean, I guess stepping a foot or two in to take a mid-range shot wouldn't, that's more of his range.
Right. I mean, I think more of his range is like the 5-foot shot, but you could argue like, yeah, the 3-point shot's like the more money ball shot, but if he's not going to ever make it, step a few feet in.
Rob writes he's really worried about this team in the playoffs with chemistry, and Julius will be playing through pain. I'm not really worried about chemistry because after the OG trade, he seemed like he fit in seamlessly. I don't think Burks is really going to play, and so it's just Bogdanovich is the new guy, and as long as they have a couple weeks, like 2 weeks before the playoffs, Bogdanovich he's been around, like he knows how to fit in. I don't think he's like a tough guy to assimilate into your offense.
Yeah, I think the guys all these guys have been playing together enough that like just because there's a bit of a break from playing together, as long as they have a small ramp up period, and as much any kind of crap people are giving so I don't think Bogdanovich has been that great. I think he's been like a little worse than I'd hoped he'd be. You think he's been good?
He had like 2 good games, like 2 bad games, a couple okay games. Like it's been a mixed bag, but again,
Like,
small
great in the
sample
Philly
size,
game.
small sample size with a ton of injured players on a new team. Like he's not even going to be playing with these guys. Like
Yeah,
hopefully
like
come playoffs. Like,
he got 20 points last night, 6 of 14 shooting, 4 of 10 from three, and you'd look at that and go like, oh, he had a pretty good game. I thought he looked terrible last night. Not terrible. He just looked very mediocre last night. His defense was not there. He wasn't providing much of a spark as much as just being a guy to shoot the ball. Um, but he's being asked to do more than what you're saying. Like he's being asked to do two, like in a different situation, when you have Randall on the floor or Brunson on the floor, you have OG on the floor, the defense is going to be drawn away from him. He's going to have more wide open threes. He's not going to be asked to create, like, if we're asking him to create his own shot, like, that's not great for us. But I don't think we're going to, like, when full strength, we're not really asking him to do that.
if you have Brunson, Dante, Randall, Ihart, and Bogdanovich on the floor, yeah, he's probably just going to be taking wide open threes, and he's a really good shooter. So
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. These players are looking worse because they're like seventh and eighth man that are being forced into a starting role. They're like, okay, Bogdanovich, go cover Brandon Ingram. Like,
Do you
that shouldn't
know
even
how
be a
much
matchup.
worse, how much worse the Knicks have looked since everyone's gone down? Do you want to know?
Well, I mean, it's obvious. Like when you lose literally an entire starting lineup,
So-
it's gonna look bad.
Okay, so when after the Knicks got so prior to getting to OG, the Knicks defense looked garbage, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They were getting a ton of points. After they got OG, they had a run where they were top 3 defense in the NBA and like a top 5, top 6 offense. I've got the exact number, but they were killing it. From the Twitter account DJ on Twitter, he posted this. He said Knicks since Randall and OG got hurt, 13 games. Here are the stats: 6 wins, 7 losses. Okay, 16th in offense, 27th in defense, allowing an effective field goal percentage of 59%, 30th in the league, last in the league, allowing teams to take 39.8% of their shots at the rim, 30th in the league, allowing teams to take 43.2% of their shots from three, 29th in the league.
I mean, it's not even just Randall and OG. Ihart's missed 3 or 4 games, and one of those games he was limited to 11 minutes.
Brunson's missed.
Brunson's missed, so it's just they're really shorthanded. On a positive note, Dante's defense is it's crazy. Like it's way better than I thought. I knew he was a good defender, but like he was just locking players down last night. He's been awesome.
He's been great. Like he just looks so much better when you have OG on the floor. You have the other guys available also.
Yeah.
I think the thing that's been missing, like the offense has been very mediocre lately, but what's really been missing is like during the OG streak, it wasn't that the offense was amazing. It's that the other teams weren't able to score.
Yeah.
There were so many like turnovers, so many like deflections. So many guys were just locked down.
Yeah.
I hope we're not gonna look back on that as being like that was our new insanity.
Right.
Remember OG sanity? I mean, he never played a game again for the Knicks, but those 17 games, wow.
So DJ says the Knicks got the deepest roster in the league when healthy, but we aren't getting by Boston. I wouldn't be so sure of that. If the Knicks come back healthy for the playoffs, I don't think it's a guarantee that they don't beat Boston.
I mean, first of all, there's no guarantee Porzingis will be healthy for the playoffs, but let's assume
Well, and look at the Knicks have a really, really great bench. And like, are you really worried about like Pritchard and Hauser?
I mean, just the Celtics have an amazing starting lineup.
They do. They have an amazing starting lineup, but can they sustain that for a full game? The Knicks can keep the pressure on for 48 minutes if everybody's back. Like, I mean, between Ihart and Mitch, there's like no defensive drop off. And then you take OG out, and then you have Bogdanovich who could score 20, 30 points. It's Hart coming off the bench. Like it's a really, really good. You'd have
really
Precious
exciting-
backing up Randall. You're not losing
Yeah.
anything with like rebounding. Obviously losing scoring, but like
But you get some defense.
you flip because then you got the extra offense for Bogdanovich. So like it's just 48 straight minutes of hell for other teams.
No, you have a really, really exciting team if everyone's healthy.
Yeah.
I think they're Celtics. I think the Celtics seem like the Celtics are just really good this year. I would be they obviously the toughest team to beat. give the Knicks a healthy Knicks as good as chance as anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I'd expect Boston to win, but it wouldn't shock me if the Knicks beat them. That's what
So
I'm
when
saying.
the Celtics beat the Knicks recently, over the weekend, the Celtics shot I think like 70% for the first three quarters. It's like
Yeah,
absurd.
yeah.
And the Celtics are a very good shooting team, a very good three-point shooting team. They do live and die a little bit by the three, more so, and they've just been hitting the threes. But you could also see a series where like the other team's playing really good defense. Suddenly the threes aren't falling because they're being well defended.
And
I
despite
I
all that,
feel
that game wasn't even really a blowout, and the Knicks were super shorthanded. So I don't know. I
yeah.
think
I
they
mean
have a chance.
this team has a shot. It's a fun team. I guess we have to get there. I mean,
I just don't want this to be one of those what if seasons where like OG Randall and Mitch just don't come back, and then the Knicks lose in the first round, and forever we're just like, what if this team was healthy for the playoffs? Like, I don't know if I could handle that. Everybody needs to
so
come back.
right now the Knicks are 35 and 24. They are so 59 games into the season, with
23.
23 games to go, which is both not that many and a lot to go. And Mike, like I feel like we need as much time as possible to get everyone healthy. I know. Do you have any concerns about us like falling to the seventh seed for the playoffs?
Not the seventh seed. Concerned about maybe like the fifth or sixth seed, which it would be nice to have home court, but I don't know.
So right now, I am worried about the rest of the season just because like the Knicks are going to be shorthanded for a while. Um, and currently they don't have a big lead. So like it would be the Knicks are not going to fall to ninth. That's probably not going to happen right now. And the Bulls are in ninth. The Knicks they have 27 wins. The Knicks have 35. Like there's a pretty solid difference between it. I think the Bulls are 7.5 behind the Knicks. Um, it's a pretty big lead. I don't think they're going to fall down. But the Pacers, who are eighth, they're only 2 games back of the Knicks. The Orlando, who's seventh, is only 2 games back. Philly, who's sixth, is only a game and a half back.
Philly is done. They're toast without Embiid. Their apps don't even bring them up. They're toast.
They're going to still win some games.
They're not going to win many.
I don't. I mean, they're not going to win a lot.
They're 3-7 in their last 10. I know so are the Knicks, but like they're 3-7 in the last 10, and that's like about as good as they're going to do without Embiid.
So right now the Heat are 8-2 in the last 10. And the Heat had looked like pretty bad for a while, but now they're turning it on. The Magic are 7-3. The Pacers are 6-4. I just don't want to be in the goddamn like I think the top six. If the Knicks end up at 6th seed, it's not ideal, but whatever. Like you just have to get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And you play the Bucks or the Cavs first round. It is what it is. You got to go through these teams anyway.
Yeah.
And I obviously like to play the Cavs, but like falling into the goddamn
Play-in, yeah.
play-in. And I know Miami made the finals in the play-in last year, so whatever.
I think
But,
I think 6th is the lowest they go.
I don't know. I am very concerned with the schedule going forward. And not that it's crazy, but like the Knicks barely beat Detroit, and Detroit's terrible. And the Knicks are gonna have and last night against the Pelicans, they just were really shorthand. I just feel like with the way, like the battering that Brunson takes, he's gonna miss some more games. I don't like. So coming up right now, you got Golden State. Here's the next 10: Golden State, Cleveland, Atlanta, Orlando, Philly twice, Portland, Sacramento, Golden State. Bunch of winnable games like Golden State. Golden State's been playing a lot better lately. Cleveland's been on fire. Atlanta's pretty mediocre, but whatever. Orlando, they're still a tough matchup. Philly's 2 games in a row. It's hard to sweep a team. Portland's terrible. Sacramento's pretty good. Golden State, again, is not bad. They play Denver. Like, I don't know. The last 23 games aren't like, if everyone's healthy, I'd have no issue. I am concerned the Knicks will go like 9-14, 8-15. They're going to have a bad end to the season, and they're going to fall to the 7th seed. And we'll always have January.
For me, if they could play around 500 until they get some reinforcements, I think they're going to go on a winning streak once they start getting some bodies back. So they just have to weather, hopefully, only the next 2 or 3 weeks.
I think once OG is back, they go back into winning mode. And I agree with you. They just need to play 500. I just hope they can. Like, there's a lot of like, you can't tell me that you were like, even though guys are out, like, you're not feeling good about this team when the guys are out. Like, the team doesn't look very good.
No team would with 4 starters out.
Right, right. But I'm just talking about like, no matter what, the next like next 10 games, you're probably not getting these guys back. Do you feel confident about this team winning? Like, even playing 5-5 the next
Not
10
really.
games?
I don't like the fact that a month ago we were talking about winning the championship, and now we're like, hopefully we could play 500 ball for
I mean,
25%
Jay,
of the season.
you talked about the championship on the show, and we've been goddamn effed ever since. I blame you, Jay. If you didn't bring up the C word, we would not be in this position.
I blame the Heat. It's all been a trickle down. When Randall went down, they had to overplay OG, and then OG went down, and they had to overplay iHeart, and it's just a waterfall effect. It all started with the Heat. Goddamn Heat.
Goddamn Heat. So I am. It's not like I think I fall into the category of being optimistic about this team when it gets to the playoffs, but being pessimistic until guys are back. It would be nice to get one of these guys back soon. So Mitch basically is going to be back at some point. OG.
They're all going to be back at some point. That's what we're hearing now. Like,
It's not like the most encouraging. They said, OG, will you play again this season? Yes. Can you elaborate on when?
look, if they're all healthy for the playoffs, we're back. Like, we're back in it. We don't have home court, whatever. Like, that's fine.
Can you imagine we're stuck against like the Pacers in the play-in game?
I mean,
We can well beat the Pacers, but it's just going to be like a night. Like,
it'll be
it's just
annoying,
gonna
but you was like, if everybody's healthy, you're scared of the Pacers,
no, I'm just like scared. I just don't even want to be in this situation.
right?
I am resigned to be fine if they have like the 6th seed and play like Milwaukee first round. I'm
Yeah.
like, it is what it is. You got to beat Milwaukee.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that'll just be tough. Like all away series, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Boston, probably. Like not ideal, but
If you look at it though, I mean, like the East is pretty tough. No matter where the Knicks are seated, it's going to be a tough. Is Embiid coming back at all? So is he done, or is he coming back? Will he be back for the playoffs?
they're not sure yet.
Okay, okay. So generally speaking, your first round matchups, the season ended today. Obviously, it's not. You play the Heat, which is obviously pretty tough. Or you could play the Bucks or the Cavs or the Sixers. Like these are all tough matchups.
Yeah, yeah. And the East has some legit teams this year. The Knicks are finally good, and the East is deeper than it's been in like 20 years.
It's really insane. Like the all those years when LeBron was good in the East and no one else like could feel the basketball team. The Knicks were like, "Sorry, we suck." And now the Knicks are like, "We're good again." And the league's like, "Oh, the rest of the East took steroids. What are you gonna do?"
Yeah, when LeBron was making his run, there was like 3 good teams. It was like Boston, Indiana, and whatever team LeBron was on. That was
You
like
had to
it.
beat like a pretend good like Hawks team. Like this is pretty goddamn ridiculous.
Yeah. He had to play like a 37 and 45 Pacers team in the first round. Like,
There's no easy first round matchups anymore. There's no like, oh, well, the first round match is going to be easy because we're playing. Can we play the Pistons first round? Would that be okay?
yeah, I mean, even like Indiana and Orlando are scrappy. Like, it's not
I mean,
like
they're not scrappy. They're good teams.
Yeah, it's not like it's a the top seeds aren't going to get a free first round like it used to be.
I mean, the Pacers can't play defense, but you're watching one of the best offenses we've ever seen play to play. The Magic have 2 of the better young up and coming players in the league. Like, I guess you could play the Bulls first round or the Hawks first round. That'd be nice, but like,
But they might not even make it. DJ writes,
I mean, they'll win the play-on, so who the hell knows?
Embiid to the Knicks equals championship. What will it cost? Do you think the Knicks would win a championship if they had Embiid?
I like the current team. I don't know if I really like. If you like said like what, if you said to me this all, let's say the Knicks, it doesn't work out. Somehow the Knicks don't win the title this year. Somehow. You asked me what the Knicks should do in the offseason. I would say get this team healthy, re-sign everyone, and draft 2 players. Use your draft picks to get young players on the team. But I want everyone back.
Roll it back, yeah. I would rather roll it back. Embiid, Have we seen him play a full playoffs healthy? Like we're worried about injuries and like Embiid's over 30 now, right? And he just had knee surgery. I don't know. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. It would cost probably Mitch, Randall, and a bunch of draft picks. Like
Philly's not trading him to the Knicks. That's also the big thing. I like.
Just
Is
and
Philly really gonna be like, hey, let's trade him to our rival?
hypothetical. Just he says I want to trade. I'm willing to sit out the rest of my career unless you trade me only to the Knicks.
Right. Dame said that, and does he play in Miami?
I'm just saying I don't think I don't think the Knicks are obviously Embiid's great when he's healthy, but I don't know if that makes them that much better if you're losing like two positions. You know what I mean? Like
I mean, like, in theory, you could have like an Embiid at center and a Precious at power forward.
Yeah.
That's more workable because you have such an offensive force at center.
Yeah.
Um,
But then like if Embiid gets hurt, then you're
you're screwed. But
Yeah.
again, and guys gonna you to win the title. How many stories were like, oh, this team was missing 4 guys, but they won the title?
well,
You gotta have your players.
yes, but when you have such a top heavy team, one injury can just completely derail your season. Like the teams that are deeper can sustain injury.
Name the team who won a title with their star player injured.
Toronto when OG was injured.
Okay, you're just making up examples now. They obviously had Kawhi.
Yeah, I know,
OG,
I know.
OG was great. Yeah,
I was
yeah.
calling
It
OG
just doesn't
star.
happen. You to win the title, your guys. That's why also I find so stupid when people are like, "Well, what if guys are injured in the playoffs? You're gonna lose." Like, yeah, you're gonna lose in the playoffs if guys are injured. It's hard to win in the playoffs without your guys. If you're missing your 6th guy, if you're missing your not so important starter, fine. Your top 3 guys, or at least top 2 guys, have to be healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. The Knicks have so much injury problems as it is. Trading for an injury prone player just seems like asking for it.
And the package to get him, let's assume the roster stays the same. I guess you're trading Randall. You're trading a ton of picks. And you're trading what else?
Mitch and
Yeah, one of the centers.
and
Maybe
I don't know.
DiVincenzo.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, most of it, I guess, is going to be picks. But it's the Philly even value the picks. If you're gonna, they're gonna get Embiid. Like, it's Philly gonna be like, great, we'll get the 29th pick in the draft. Wonderful.
Or will they be like, oh, he has no knees. We want as many picks as possible.
I also, if we're gonna make up a scenario where like a guy's gonna ask out and come here, are you taking him or are you taking Devin Booker?
The fact that I'm pausing so long is because I am just so in love with Dante right now. I'm just trying to picture a starting lineup without Dante. And
Oh, imagine a guy that's like flat out better than Dante. Dante's awesome, but
I don't know.
I think Devin Booker over Dante.
Is-
I'm not making a wild call.
Dante's he's better on offense. Dante is like
Hell of a defender, yeah.
so much better on defense. So
But if we're going to play dream scenario, and not dream, obviously there are guys that are better, but just the theory that Phoenix, like, he asks out, whatever, and it's also trading like to the other conference, which seems more realistic. And he's CAA and so forth. Booker seems like the guy I would get. Like Booker, I feel like I can see that putting us over the top.
yeah,
And he's not as injury prone as Embiid, but whatever. I go with run it back, draft 2 guys, hope they like contribute when guys are out or whatever. Just add something to the team. I don't know, and just give OG a big contract. Hope he can play 60 games. I don't know.
yeah,
They built a really interesting team.
they do. There's not one person in the starting lineup where I'd be like, before we were like, oh, we need to upgrade like the Grimes spot.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, it'd be really hard to upgrade a position and not like lose a lot.
By the way, I said on Twitter that like, are the Knicks going to regret trading Grimes? I really like Grimes a lot. Our Twitter account, by the way, is operated by both Jay and I, and so Jay was not a big fan of Grimes. I was a bigger fan. So Jay posted like anti-Grimes stuff, and I'd be like, "How could you?" And I'd be posting like people should. I'd be posting pot. People are like, "Why are you saying this? You were just asking to trade him." I'm like, "That was the other operator of the account."
That is the fun part about sharing a Twitter account. So now people are like, "Oh, we're just playing both sides for engagement and Knicks for clicks," and I'm like, "No, we just have two different opinions and we share the account." So
It's literally just separate people.
yeah, yeah.
If
If you follow us closely enough on Twitter, you could tell who's posting what. We have different like words that we normally use and stuff.
Yeah. I forgot, Jay, to post that we were even doing a show today or ask for questions, so we don't have them.
Okay. That's good.
Hope that's helpful. Anyway, I'm trying to be optimistic. I love this team. I absolutely love this team. So next 5 games: Golden State, Cleveland, Atlanta, Orlando, and 1 game against Philly. What do you think happens?
Golden State's playing really good now that they benched
really well.
Clay. Kuminga's just been.
Cleveland's been on fire.
Cleveland's been on fire. Atlanta's a winnable game. Who are the other two? Orlando.
Orlando and Philly. Philly's a winnable game. Orlando's pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
winnable, but pretty good team.
I'm gonna say 3-2. They lose Golden State and what was the second game?
I mean,
Yeah,
they lose Golden State and they lose Cleveland. The next 2 games are really tough.
Yeah, they lose those two, and then they get Brunson and Ihart back, and they win the next 3.
Hopefully, do they disclose what the deal with Brunson? And they just got like something about his like some kind of neck or injury.
I mean, he gets clocked in the head all the time, so it could have been anything.
Okay, hopefully it's not serious. Anything else you want to add, Jay?
It's hard talking about these games when it's not the team that we're gonna have like going forward. It's just like the reserves playing, and like let's see if we could play against these full strength teams with our reserves and win as many games as we can. It's tough.
I mean, the Knicks are pretty deep for the fact that like they're playing in these games and winning some of these games. Like it's
Yeah.
But
If
if
you
you look
had
at the
if you had 5 starters out, most teams are losing by 20, 30, 40 points. Like it says something that the Knicks have been competitive in all these games.
if you look at the starting lineup right last night, DiVincenzo, starting shooting guard,
Yeah.
great. Josh Hart, first guy, second guy off the bench, not a starter, very good player. Shooting guard doesn't really shoot. Great defense, great hustle. McBride, backup point guard starting. In the playoffs, Brunson's probably playing 40 minutes. McBride's playing 5. Sims, center. He's our third string center. And there's a huge gap between him and the other 2 centers. And then Precious, who's been nice, been really playing well above expectations. But it's not if this was the Knicks starting lineup to start the season, you would have guessed 35 wins.
Yeah. If that. Yeah.
And then
I would have guessed less. I would have guessed like 25.
Yeah, Burks coming off the bench will look better. You're right. Bogdanovich, who can do some nice stuff, and the bench is like non-existent after that. You have Toppin, Jeffries, and Charlie Brown, who are only allowed to play when the game is officially over.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some people were like, hey, Jacob Toppins looked pretty good in the G League. Yeah. Apparently there's a huge difference between G League games and NBA games because he does not look even he may develop, but he's far away. Jeffries, Charlie Brown, I mean, these guys are not guys who you're.
No, I mean, you know who lights up in G League? McClung. He's only allowed to play in the NBA for the slam dunk contest. Like, the G League and the NBA are like, it's not even close. So
For the dunk contest, I think you have to have played like 40% of your team's games to be in the dunk contest, or 50. Like, it's absurd that guys are just like, put them in the G League dunk contest. Jacob Toppin and McClung were not NBA players this season. Why are they in the dunk contest?
it's crazy. The dunk contest is dead. It's done.
I can't believe something that should be one of the most exciting events of All-Star Weekend is completely dead.
They actually made me agree with Reggie Miller when he was saying the 3-point contest is the highlight of All-Star Weekend. And it's
It really is.
literally the only good part about All-Star. All-Star Weekend was we didn't even talk about it. It was a travesty. 211 points or whatever they scored, like
Oh my god.
embarrassing.
I was away and I did not get to watch the All-Star game. And if I was home and had nothing to do, I wouldn't watch the All.
I didn't watch the All-Star game. I watched part of the celebrity game where they did a bunch of things that you said they should. They had a 4-point shot, a 5-point shot. They had a button that you click and it was double points for 2 minutes. Like all this weird stuff, which kind of made it fun, but they had no celebrities. It was like a long jumper from Italy. And I'm like, you couldn't get an actual celebrity?
You know what would be cool? Here's another idea. I mean, there's any idea what they do for the All Star game is a good idea. Like these ideas are terrible. I have a good way. I have a good fix for the All Star game, and this will get guys to play. You merge the future stars game and the All Star game. The first half, you make the games like half as long, or play to 60, play the shorter games. But basically, you make the East All Stars versus half the Rising Stars team, and then the West All Stars versus the Rising Stars team, or just something like that, where they're like, oh, are we gonna play hard? We're gonna lose to these rookies. We're not gonna lose to these rookies, and then the All Stars will play really goddamn hard.
Yeah, I mean it's something. I don't know.
That would be kind of cool. And then the rookies would be like, hey, we could be the team that beats the All Stars. We're gonna play hard. At least like even if the All Star team blows out the rookies, like everyone's playing hard, just out of like pride, because like how awesome would be to win this game, or like shit, like I don't want the shame of losing this game.
I mean the All-Stars just having pride in the game would be nice too. Like
Yeah.
they used to.
They used to, and it's out of fashion now. Like guys, every time I've watched in recent years, no one is literally playing defense, and the teams are like, let's just walk down the court, shoot a three, walk down, shoot a three. They shoot like 800 threes. It's the worst goddamn game.
I think Luka took a 3/4 court shot.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
It's a goddamn joke.
Yeah. Anyway, NY Knicks podcast on Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. NY Knicks podcast.
Sorry, here's another, and you can finish this. Or how about just America versus the world? Have the U.S. Stars, All Stars versus the European All Stars.
Yeah,
Maybe there's some pride there.
I don't want it to be too gimmicky, though. I don't know. I would really just like East versus West, and everybody tries.
Okay, another idea I had, just throwing them out there, Jay. You have like the teams play each other. One team is playing for aid for Ukraine, and the other team is playing against aid for Ukraine. And we find out the U.S. is going to help support Ukraine in the war based on the winning of the All-Star game.
I just think the All-Star game, whatever. I just think, yeah, you need some more. For the dunk contest, you need to actually be an NBA player. If nobody wants to do it, then you just don't have it.
And you could make up some other like that, like the idea of having Steph Curry versus what's her name, like that was a cool contest. Like,
yeah,
find some, or maybe have the NBA All Stars versus the. Well, I guess that probably wouldn't be a great idea to have the NBA All Stars versus the WNBA All Stars. I still think maybe a combined roster would be kind of fun. I don't know.
and I think having actual celebrities in the Celebrity All-Star game would be good. They had like a record producer. I'm like, well, he's successful, but he's not like a celebrity.
The Celebrity All Star game is just the people who didn't get on Dancing with the Stars.
They wouldn't even
really low down the list of like.
It was like every person. I was like, who is that? Who is that? I think I knew 2 people combined out of the 2 teams.
They somehow like it's just like it's, and I guess I don't know all the celebrities, but like it really was a mix of like, who the hell are these guys?
I mean, an Italian long jumper. Like, how does that qualify as a celebrity?
I don't know. I maybe guys don't want to like kill themselves for an All-Star game, but like there's just ways to make this more fun. I mean, and other sports have the issue also. Like the Pro Bowl is they literally eliminated the football game and made it a flag football game because the Pro Bowl is so terrible.
It's hard to get players in contact sports, especially in the middle of the season, into an All-Star game.
Yeah, you don't think my Rising Stars versus the All-Star kind of thing?
I think that could work. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's like some. At least you have some pride on the like because the money thing doesn't not going to really motivate those guys. Like some pride thing would be really like want to try hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, do the wrap of the show, Jay.
nyknickspodcast@gmail.com is our email. And at nyknickspodcast on YouTube. And if you want to follow us on Twitch, it is Crumpled Bacon, crumple with a P. That is all our stuff.
Maybe
So
we'd blow up on YouTube if anyone could ever find us.
it's at nyknickspodcast. YouTube.com.
What's the crumple bacon thing?
Crumpled Bacon's Twitch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, so that's it. So thanks for listening, and we will be back next week, hopefully with some healthy players and some winning basketball again.
And some optimism. We will come back with opposite optimism.
There we go.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everybody. It's time to go.
This is the end.
Say goodbye. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good to say goodbye. I'm sick and tired and I'm saying goodbye. Goodbye, girl. Goodbye, 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 everybody.
It's really hard getting up for a team that's just completely injured.
Well, it's weird. It's not like past seasons where like, oh, it's hard rooting for this team because they're mediocre. Like we're really excited about this team, but just like
Yeah,
it's just weird with all the injuries.
it's just a lull in the...
It went from like extreme excitement with like the OG time to extreme like, okay, let's try to get through this.
Well, this is like the... I understand what's happening, and I'm about to get really nervous because nobody's coming back yet. Like,
Yeah,
I'm calm-ish, but it's creeping up in the back of my head. Like, I was expecting at least one of these guys to be back by now. They're not. Now I'm starting to get concerned.
If you're the Knicks, you're like, hey, it might make sense for us to try to tread water a little longer so these guys come back and are ready for the playoffs. So you don't necessarily want to rush these guys. Like OG, you're like, take an extra 2 weeks off. We need to really.
Oh,
need to
I
speed you
totally,
back.
totally get it. It's just, it's going to be brutal basketball until this happens. And it's just not fun to watch, to talk about. Like, it's just not fun right now. I mean, it is
If
what it
Brunson's
is.
out there, they could win. Like Detroit game also wasn't a great game, but you had a lot of confidence. Brunson not being out there against the Pelicans, you're like, maybe they can pull this off.
Yeah.
They got like I think at halftime was 45-45. So you're like, okay, I know this is gonna fall apart in the third quarter, but like
Yeah, I mean, they made it semi-competitive. It was just...
you need a guy to go. You really what you need right now is a guy like Bogdanovich to go off and be like really playing well.
yeah.
He's not. He's playing fine.
Well,
but you
which
need him
game
to,
did he
like,
go off in? Was that the Detroit game?
Philly game.
Philly game, yeah.
Yeah, you need him to do that a little more often to be like on fire. You need Burks to be fucking not terrible. Burks is not this bad. I don't
Yeah.
think.
I think he'll snap out of it.
Yeah, he's been not ideal.
Thanks for listening,